Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are MC.
12 days ago, the Royals embarked on a long road trip against 3 first-place teams. 2 off days, 2 rainouts, a manhunt lockdown, and a doubleheader later, the Royals finished with a winning record and on top of the Central Division. Now, finally, a long homestand begins tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium, and doesn't that sound nice? A 4-game series begins tonight against the Cleveland Indians after last night's rainout. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Welcome to Royals baseball, and welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. And the Royals are home for a 10-game homestand. They are 4-2 at home. It's only 6 games, but that's a huge turnaround from last year. And leading the way has been the starting pitching. And that's what the Royals were hoping for when they made all those moves during the offseason, and they're paying off. The ERA at this point now, compared to last year, down from 4.62 to 3.42. And along the way, the innings are up, the strikeouts are up, and the walks are way down. So all those numbers look very good as we bring in Rex Hudler, maybe even better than the Royals were expecting.
That's right. When management acquired these talented starters, Ryan, I'm sure that they were hopeful that they would give them some innings early, they would help the team stay in games, they would be competitive. But I don't think they expected so far what they're getting. And it's been exciting to see. James Shields leading the way as they got him a #1 guy. And Irvin Santana, they put him in that #2 spot. A lot of people were thinking, man, he gave up so many home runs last year. How's that going to work? It's been beautiful, especially when you have defense that complements the starting pitching. And it's all over the diamond. There's not one culprit out there making all the plays. Everyone in all the positions, Lorenzo Cain's legs, heck, the 2-time Gold Glover Gordon, these guys are all helping out, which really makes it for a good thing when you throw in some timely hitting, and they're getting that too.
And Irvin has been the magic man over his last 3 starts. He'll take the mound tonight as the 10-game homestand finally begins.
says. It was in Detroit doing what he does every single game, blocking just about every ball in the dirt, taking a beating, but enjoying every minute behind the dish. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg out here in right field. I said to Salvador, how you feeling? You're taking a beating. And he said, I feel great. We are ready to go. And I said, Sal, what's the biggest difference in this team? What's been the biggest key to all this winning after a very successful road trip? And he said, it's the starting pitching. And I said, well, give me one guy that's been the best. And he said, I want to give all of it to him. And I said, no, you got to go with one. And he said, I'll go with two. James Shields and Irvin Santana, in Salvy's mind, have been the best. Shields, because he's James Shields, and he said, has the best changeup in the game. And then Irvin Santana, he's been very impressed with Irvin's ability to keep the ball down, which means keeping the ball in the park, working both sides of the plate, and using a slider that Salvador calls one of the best in the game, and throwing strikes with it. Loves Irvin's chances tonight to keep on winning for the Royals, and really likes the job that all of his pitchers have done, rotation and bullpen so far this year. The Magic Man, Irvin Santana, throws the first pitch. It's coming up next on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Play it forward with Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by AT&T, the wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. And tonight's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. And with all that rain, Kauffman Stadium looks greener than ever, as the Cleveland Indians will play the first 4 games here of the 10-game homestand. And there is Terry Francona, the 2-time world champion manager of the Boston Red Sox in 2004, 2007. Now in his first year as manager of the Tribe. And they are off to an 8-11 start, and here is his lineup. And the Indians, middle to the lower half of the American League in most offensive categories, but one standout category would be home runs. They are 5th in the league, and they have gotten 7 from their number 7 hitter, Mark Reynolds, who's at first base tonight. And they will be facing Irvin Santana.
All right. Irvin's going to get that rock, and he's going to look forward to throwing strikes like he has. He's got a 2- and 4-seam fastball, really nice slider with some good downward break to it, and a changeup that he commands. Been pretty impressive what Irvin's done so far early. He's only walked 5 batters to 26 strikeouts. He's been good.
Michael Brantley will lead off, and he has been filling in as the leadoff hitter. He's a regular for the Indians, but Michael Bourne, big free agent signee during the offseason, had been leading off and playing center, but he's on the disabled list. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big hop to Hosmer. He'll go to the bag himself. And if you go back to the end of the game on Thursday in Detroit, Royals pitchers now have retired 17 in a row.
Yep, they're flat getting after it. And I'm going to tell you, we've talked a lot about the starting pitching, and that's been really good because that's how the game evolves, is you only win if your starting pitching is good. But you're even better if you have solid defense behind you. Interesting to see against the left-hander Kazmir how Ned changed the lineup. Johnson at second base and Tejada at third. There's Tejada. Miguel now probably has something to do with the fact that he's hitting .393 with 1 home run against Kazmir. Nothing against what Moose is doing, but Ned's giving these guys some playing time. Nothing wrong with that. Got to keep them sharp. Passionate guy right here.
He and Santana are talking about the left side of the infield and where Tejada's playing. And where he is playing is in and way off the line, but now he'll back off with the count 0-2 on Jason Kipnis. Kipnis is off to a slow start. He's hitting just .170. And there's the slider, and Santana gets his first strikeout.
Okay, the previous slider before that was a get me over, and it was elevated up in the zone. Kipnis took it. So then Irvin comes right back and throws it where he's been getting his strikeouts. Starts it at the knees and ends up on the ground. So he set him up really good there. And watching Salvador Perez behind the plate is fun, as you can watch him. Salvi will move his feet. He'll sit on either side of the plate where he wants it. And when you have a starter that has good command, you can do that and expect him to hit it. See how he moves away.
And he missed away. Ball 1-2 as Drupal Cabrera, who is slowly starting to warm up, batting just .156 overall, but he's hit in 4 straight games, and he's been bothered by a similar, don't want to call it an injury, but a distraction, if you will, as Eric Hosmer. He got a sore quad muscle, and it's very hard for those legs to loosen up with all these cold games. The Royals have lost 2 games to weather in the first 3 weeks of the season. The Indians have lost 4 games to weather already.
Wow, so timing's an issue for both teams.
2-1.
Dave Island, when it comes to Irvin Santana, likes for Irvin, like most of his guys, to be able to stay on top, get out over that front leg and finish right on top and keep the ball down. That's his key. Likes to throw strikes. He's only given up 4 homers. 3 of those just solo shots.
2-2 on Cabrera. Irvin Santana has been so good in his last 3 starts, and he lost his first one, and that was at Chicago when he gave up all the home runs. But he has really put the pieces back together since, and he just misses inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He has been good, and he has been pitching deep into the games. And in his last 3, in this order, he has gone 8 innings, 8 innings, and 7 innings. Hit hard, but Johnson fields on the outfield grass, and Santana opens his start with a 1-2-3 first inning. with all these days off and postponements. And here's a lineup that Ned had last night, and he's going to stick with it tonight against the lefty Scott Kazmir, and that is with Miguel Tejada starting at third base and Elliott Johnson getting the start at second. So Mike Moustakas and Chris Getz are not in the lineup against, hard to believe, 29-year-old Scott Kazmir. He got to the big leagues a long time ago, it seems. He's still not 30 years old, but trying to get back and get his big league career going after pitching in the independent leagues last year.
Yeah, he's a left-hander, and that's a commodity to find any lefty, especially with experience. Now, so far, you can't judge the guy on his 3 and a third innings pitched, because it didn't go very well against Houston. During that short little stint, he gave up 8 hits, 2 homers to righties in 3 and a third. So he's probably a little bit nervous about this next start here. His teammates did pick him up, though, in that game, and they came back and they got the win. Fastball, slider, changeup. Occasional curveballs, but so far the fastball looks straight.
And a different fastball as far as velocity. I remember Kazmir when he was with the Rays and having some big years. In fact, one year, 2007, he led the American League in strikeouts, and that fastball was in the mid-90s. And now, so far tonight, we're seeing 90 and 91. And there's a breaking ball pulled on the ground to Reynolds, and he gets it to Kazmir for the out.
All right, defensively, we're going to see some guys from last year. Cabrera, Kipnis up the middle. They're good. Carlos Santana, he's the catcher. Reynolds is new at first. Stubbs in right. And Stubbs in center. By golly, how about that? Brantley, though, he was
first time in Major League history.
Fantastic. You know, it's a stubby type of afternoon. And with Brantley out there in left field, he yields to the Stubb brothers because they're good. They got good speed, but Brantley is too, so they've got a real speedy outfield with some good athletes. So I know that, you know, one of our great sponsors, StubHub's got to love that with the Stubbs out there.
Escobar finished the road trip strong, hitting in the last 6 games. In fact, he hit .367 during that long trip. And he's got his overall batting average up to .295 after a slow start. Reynolds is over to the dugout suite and runs out of room, and it's still 0-2.
And I was thinking, surely they don't have 2 Stubbs in the outfield, but you know what? Occasionally we do mix in. He's so good they'd like to have him out there and right too. But actually Swisher's out there. Swisher, what a year. He's got a new team. He's full of energy, and he plays first base, right field, and DHs.
One and two now on Escobar. And people with the Indians will say that their clubhouse has just a completely different feel this year compared to last year, with guys like Nick Swisher, Jason Giambi, Terry Francona.
It's a whole different energy in that clubhouse. And Terry Francona, a veteran, 2-time world champion, been around, players manager deluxe.
What exactly does that mean? That's a term that gets thrown out quite a bit. He's a player's manager. What does that mean?
Backs them up in the media, has conversations daily with them, open book, open door, always always open to hear suggestions, any type of thing from his players. And that's nice.
Up the right field line, Swisher on it quickly, but Escobar with his speed has an easy double, and now he's hitting 7 straight.
Okay, what Escobar does the best. Takes that high fastball, waits till the ball gets deep. Look at that head position. That head position's beautiful. Young hitters, when they try to make contact with a baseball, lots of times they pull their head off and they can't see the ball. Watch Escobar. He'll show you how it's done. Your head stays on the ball, so does your swing. Your path is nice and level, and you've got a chance to make better contact.
So right away, a runner in scoring position for Billy Butler, who leads the Royals with 14 RBIs. He had 3 of those on the trip. And he had 14 RBIs last year against the Indians. So they're going to be careful with him. And Santana and Kazmir are going to go out there and talk about what to do with Billy. Now, it's early in the game, but there is an open base and a left-hand batter waiting on deck. So Kazmir and Santana are going to talk about what to do with the next 2 hitters.
Well, you'd think they had time to do that between the rain delay or the rain out yesterday and today. But you know, when things happen once the game starts, sometimes it changes your mind. You start thinking a little bit, and that's not good for Kazmir to think. He wants to just execute, go out and get out of the first inning without any damage done. And if you're the Royals, you want to pound him. Billy wants to get this run in to continue the self-doubt that I'm sure he already has in his mind. He's a veteran pitcher, but hasn't had a whole lot of success in little periods of getting a chance.
And now 2-0 to Billy. And just reading some of his comments after that start at Houston, he talked about he never got into the flow of the game, and that there was too much of a balance between fastball and off speed. He never really got aggressive with his fastball, pitching backwards, as they like to say. Billy got a fastball up, tried to hit it into the fountains. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Okay, 3 walks in 3 1/3 innings in his last outing. Talked about the hits, 8 hits, a couple homers. You know, surely he's not on track. And Billy was trying to get one, but was elevated just a little bit out of his range.
And now 2-2.
Okay, that's the ball that's right down the middle, and Billy was a little bit late on that. A little surprised. 92-mile-an-hour fastballs, usually Billy's not late on those. But timing's everything, and it's the first inning.
Escobar's dancing around at second base, trying to distract Kazmir. And there's a bloop into shallow right, and that will drop in front of Swisher. And Escobar had to make sure it was going to drop, so he'll advance to third. Runners at the corners with 1 out.
Okay, you can tell on contact that this was going to fall. And I'm a little surprised Escobar didn't get a little better read on that. I'm thinking he could have scored on that. See him at second, he's right there. He's halfway, you know, but it's early. It just 1 out. But I thought Escobar could have gave a little bit more on that. You can read those. And Escobar, he's a solid base runner with good instincts.
Rusty Kuntz, Royals first base coach and base running coach, might say the best as far as instincts go with the Royals.
That's why I'm a little bit not I don't want to, you know, get on him, but look, I thought he could have scored on that.
Well, it just gives Hosmer a chance to drive him in.
It does, but you never know. He could hit into a double play. That's not what he wants. Hosmer wants to drive something.
Santana gets a glove on it. 2-0. I thought in the Boston series that Eric Hosmer was just missing. I mean, he must have fouled 10 balls right back to the screen in Boston. And then in Detroit, he was not missing. He had his best swings, I thought, of any series of the year.
Yeah, and I was talking with Billy Butler before the game about him. He said he looked really good.
2 balls and 1 strike.
He said his timing was good. They're working on being quick, not long. Quick hands at the plate when you're going to the baseball provides power, not the big long swing.
It's the first time that Hosmer has faced Kazmir. And that's sliced up the left field line and just foul. And it must have been just foul because the Royals kept running. They thought that landed on the line. Third base umpire Paul Emmel said it was just to the left of the line. We will show you in high definition television whether it was just left of the line or not.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh, that would have been a thing of beauty. So now you got to regroup. Okay, now you're Hosmer, you're heading to second base thinking that's a clean double and a couple of stakes. So now you got to gain your breath back. Okay, it takes a couple deep breaths because when you're breathing heavy at the plate, it's hard to concentrate on hitting. So he's going to take a little bit of time. He's got 2 strikes on him. Doesn't want to give this at bat away. Find a way to get that run home.
And a fastball up, and Kazmir reaching back for a little extra at 93. And there are 2 down. It is cliche, but at times it is so true. It is a game of inches. And a little inch to the left of the left field line, followed by an inch up in the strike zone. And instead of an RBI double, Kazmir ends up with a strikeout. So 2 on for Lorenzo Cain. Man, what a trip he had. He hit 480. And that was with 4 doubles, a home run, 6 runs scored, and 4 RBIs. And he's first pitch hacking.
And he should be. With runners in scoring position, Lorenzo Cain's hitting 368. You see that road trip, those numbers he had there, but he's a confident hitter.
And now fastball makes it 0-2. Now you say Hosmer's, his heart rate's up because he thought he had a double and he goes running out of the box. Well, it's foul, and now Kazmir's got a little bit of confidence. Those last 2 pitches might have been his 2 best fastballs of the inning.
You're right. And you said something that you said a little cliche. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Whoever tell broadcasters, stay away from the cliches. That's bull, because baseball is full of cliches, and they say them because it's the truth. That falls fair. There's 2 runs on the board. So now Kazmir feels pretty good about himself.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say cliche-ick, though.
My bad.
Yeah.
You know how I am.
I may have said cliche
yeah.
or cliche-ish.
Yeah. Look, you speak HUD, so look, Lorenzo, though, 0-2, don't take anything too close. Be hacking.
Not at that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, if anything, the Royals are going to get at least 25 pitches out of Kazmir and get a long look at him here in the first inning.
Is cliche-ick a word?
It is now.
Stay off the high fastball. He's trying to get guys to swing and miss at that.
2-2. I think if you're using too many cliches and they're trying to fix you, they send you to the cliche-ick.
That sounds a lot better, buddy. Thank you.
Escobar at third, he doubled. Butler at first, he singled. And Kazmir thinks that Billy Butler is going to take off. Now, I have to say, Billy has very few stolen bases in his major league career, which it should come as a surprise to nobody. However, his first career stolen base was against the Indians, and maybe they've never forgotten it. And by the way, he has 5 in his major league career. Cain chops it out to short, and Cabrera will play the force at second base. Well, the Royals were inches away from taking the lead, but Kazmir gets around 2 hits in the first inning.
You back 18 years ago, April 26th, and George Toma, the Hall of Fame groundskeeper, throwing out the first pitch. It was after the strike-shortened 1994 season that they installed grass to Kauffman Stadium, and the opener was 18 years ago yesterday. Season started late because of that labor situation, but when it did start, they had grass, making Kauffman Stadium even more beautiful than ever. And Ryan, I know you know this one. The big story that day, as far as baseball goes, was that Kevin Appier had a no-hitter going, but it was the first game of the year Bob Boone pulled him after 6 2/3 with no hits.
That happens. See it happen all the time. Maybe not every year, but pitcher will be working on a no-hitter, and then pitch count becomes an issue early on, and there it is, from turf to grass. And of course, that was before the renovation in the outfield. Santana makes a great pitch on Swisher, but he gets it up the left field line. And look at that hustle by Tejada going out from third and holding Swisher to a single.
Oh, man, on contact. Tejada, I thought for a minute he might catch that ball. Great break and a good jump on it, and he got to it before Gordon. Or, like I said, he had a double. Look at that hustle. And Swisher was coming. He was going, but you know what? Tejada made him stop. That's what you want to run until the guy makes you stop. Great play by Tejada.
And now 42-year-old Jason Giambi in his first year with the Indians, and he made the team as a non-roster player. 430 major league home runs and over 1,400 career RBIs.
Whew. He's a premium run producer even now at 42. And he's looking for one thing, middle in, to power it out of here. He's got a couple this year. But, you know, leave it up to Terry Francona to go out and single-handedly pick out this guy and say, you know what, I know he's at the end of his career, but I don't think he's done. I'm going to make a call to him and see if he's interested in coming and helping me. And Terry Francona understands veterans and how important they are to help him police his clubhouse.
Slider just missed inside. If it did, 2 balls and 1 strike, and Giambi has always hit well here. 58 games, 48 RBIs, and 15 home runs with the A's and the Yankees. That is a called strike, 2-2.
Okay, Irvin, he's going to work on Giambi. He's dissecting the plate. Okay, we're going to show you where this last pitch was before that. Boy, that's a beautiful pitch there. That's right where you want to locate on a guy like that.
Clint Fagan is the home plate umpire. He got that call. He did get the call over the inside part of the plate, but he hit the outside part, and no argument from Giambi. Second strikeout for Santana.
Salvi's sitting up there right where he gave it to him. Sometimes umpires understand that they missed a call, and then they usually make it up, but sometimes not in the same at bat. Because I've heard umpires and catchers talk while I've been hitting up there, and the catcher go, "Man, where was that?" And he goes, "I missed it."
Or maybe our grid's off tonight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so I've also heard him say, I'll make it up to you.
So Swisher at first with 1 out to Carlos Santana. By the way, that base hit for Swisher, that snapped a string of 19 consecutive batters retired by the Royals. Going back to the game on Thursday, the Royals retired the last 16 Tigers on Thursday, and then Santana got the first 3 tonight. So at the strikeout, Royals pitchers have retired 20 of the last 21 hitters they faced. Big swing by Santana, and he will give you a big swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Santana has hit 4 home runs this year, and he's batting .352.
Okay, Santana, the hitter, Santana, is a very natural switch hitter. I mean, when I say natural, free swinging from both sides.
Just outside, 2-1.
Carlos Santana. Now, they all know he's catching because he can hit, but his defense has been improving. He's getting a little bit better with his English. He's communicating better with his pitchers, but they really want him to command the game behind the plate. They know he's going to hit.
Tejada went into a slide. Escobar backs him up and almost got the out at first base. So Santana gets the ground ball, but no outs.
In between both of them, you know, and this is a good effort again. Tejada, you know, he's going to take everything he can get. And it just missed that ball. And Irvin, I mean, and Escobar was right there, but they're going to give him an error on that.
So 2 on 1 out to Mark Reynolds. And two numbers really jump off the page in looking at Reynolds. First of all, the home runs. 7 home runs. That's third in the American League. But he has struck out 17 times in 18 games. And this is a hitter who has the major league record for most strikeouts in a season. 223. And he's had 3 seasons with at least 200 strikeouts. And his bat just explodes on contact. Toothpicks going everywhere.
It looked like his bat was made of balsa wood. Wow. And that happens when you hit it off the end. And the end happens to be cupped. And that means it's they put a little bit of a hole in the end to balance the top of the head out. And nothing but splinters. They call that a cupped end, a cupped bat.
Blocked by Sal. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But Reynolds is very strong, and he just takes his hands right to the ball. Very little lower half. He just tries to stay really quiet with his lower body, and he takes his hands from where they start and goes right through the zone, almost like a Paul Bunyan with a hatchet in his hand as he's chopping down a tree. He has a good downward stroke, gets some backspin on the ball.
Had a pretty good swing there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So I mentioned all the strikeouts he's had, but he's also hit as many as 44 home runs in a season. So he's got big power with that big swing. But the question comes up with him all the time. You know, if he would back off just a little bit and cut down some of those strikeouts, would he be a more well-rounded hitter? And we'll wait and see what happens this year. But in the first 3 weeks, his strikeouts are way down.
No, he's a game changer with the swing, with the bat in his hand, for sure. And, you know, he hasn't had any trouble finding a job. So employment's not an issue. They'll take the power over the strikeouts. So Irvin has him where he wants him. He's going to try to come in with a hard heater maybe here. Ooh. My bad. Nice changeup. What a good spot for him.
Third strikeout for Santana. 2 down in the second.
Oh, talk about pulling the string. Hitter's off balance. That's the key in this game. Pitcher wants to get the hitter off balance. The hitter gets a good pitch to hit when the pitcher's not on good balance.
Lonnie Chisenhall. And the Indians have been waiting on him for a couple of years. Take over full time at third base. Good pitch by Santana. Strike 1. He was the Indians' first round pick in 2008 and had last season cut short because of a broken right forearm. Sliced up the left field line, but foul. And Santana's ahead 0-2.
Working ahead. Let's see what Salvador Perez calls. Got him right where you want him, 0-2. As a team, Cleveland's hitting .250 with runners in scoring position this year.
Fastball got him looking. The leadoff bloop single, an error, but Santana turns in a scoreless second as he strikes out the side.
0-2, Chisenhall. You've got to go.
Day-night doubleheader. And if you had tickets to last night's game, those tickets are good for the night game tomorrow starting at 7:10. And you can use your parking receipt from Friday or a prepaid tag to park on Sunday night. A strike to Jeff Francoeur. And your natural reaction might be, okay, Will Smith is coming up to pitch. Who's going down to the minor leagues? But because of the new rule, which began last year, because of a doubleheader, you can expand the roster to 26. So Will Smith comes up and nobody goes down.
Boy, and checking that weather report for tomorrow just makes my mouth drool with envy. I can't wait. We're going to see some good time weather, man. Sunshine, great day for two. Come on out to the cave, folks, and watch your team perform.
Right now, the high is expected to be in the mid-70s. Kind of forgot what that feels like.
It's going to be welcome, not only for the players, but the fans, too.
Jeff Francoeur drove in 3 during the last road trip. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Okay, this is a good AB, and the reason why he's seeing a lot of pitches. See as many as you can. See if Kazmir can get himself into trouble with a walk.
And he takes a leadoff walk. And now Salvador Perez, who's hit in 5 in a row, and he drove in 4 during the road trip. And we remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Sal's after the first pitch and fouls it away. So he's up to 274 after the road trip. Ned Yost moved him down in the order. Perez had hit 4th for a few games. And as soon as Ned moved him down, Sal's batting average went up. And now he drives it into the right field corner. That ball straightens out, and it is gone for a 2-run home run.
After Casimir initiated that walk, man, by Frenchie, Salvi's coming up looking for something. Swings the first pitch, swings the second, and gets him a slice of an outside fastball and slices that outfield pole and down the right side. Look at that ball. Look at Santana had to reach for it. I mean, like coming out of his crouch for it. Could have been a pass ball. And he raked it.
I mean, that's just becoming routine for him now. I mean, his plate coverage, I mean, beyond plate coverage, he's as good as anybody that the Royals have right now. Hitting pitches off the plate outside.
If I get a scouting report on him, I'm going to tell my pitchers, look, throw him right down the middle and take your chances that he hits it at somebody. Don't try to pitch around him. He'll hurt you. Take your chances down the middle.
A broken bat and 1-2 on Tejada.
I mean, watch Carlos Santana, the catcher here. I mean, he was coming out to catch that ball from going to the backstop.
I mean, you can't even call that a mistake pitch, can you?
No.
9 out of 10 times, if a hitter swings at that pitch, the pitcher feels fortunate that he swung at a pitch like that. Perez got on top of it and got it just inside the foul pole.
Remember how I told you hitters are the first ones to know they got it, and then the pitcher usually is the second? Salvi hopped. He hopped, and that shot, he knew he got it.
Like a little Sammy Sosa
Yeah,
thing?
watch him. He'll tell you. He knows he barreled this. As Swisher just looked up and watched it. Okay, watch him here. Up, there it is. 2 hops he got. Yeah, usually it's 1, but if you go 2, for sure you know it's out.
A double hopper.
That's beautiful.
Off the knuckles, and that will drop, and now a race to first base, and Tejada goes in head first. Not sure if he beat the throw or if Casimir ever got his foot on the bag.
Man, I'm going to tell you, the passion is still there. At 38, his legs still might be too, but not advisable. Okay, look at this is a thing. Now he sees this nobody at first base. And Casimir never stepped on the base. So he'll be awarded a hit for that hard work. But at 38, by golly, we need him for later. You can hurt yourself doing that, going in head first. Love the effort.
And a filthy uniform to show.
It's beautiful. And, you know, talks about the guy's passion. He's like Salvi and Escobar. They're some of the young players. He has a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and he might have beaten that. But young players, you get there quicker going feet first. I mean, just run through the base. Don't slide it first unless you have to get out of the way.
0-1 to Elliott Johnson, and now 1 ball, 1 strike. So Tejada is at third tonight. Johnson is at second. 2 out of 13 to begin the season.
Johnson said his approach today off Casimir is going to be right back up the middle.
1-2.
He's not going to try to do anything special. But when you get a start once a week, that's a nice thing because you get 4 ABs, you hope, in 1 game. So it's good for timing. And good that Ned knows that to keep these guys sharp by letting them play.
Johnson was trying to go the other way, but he strikes out. And that's Casimir's second. So back to the top of the order, and Alex Gordon. And the road trip ended for Alex just like the last homestand did. You might remember it feels like about a month ago. But in that final game against Toronto, Alex had a chance to win the game or put the Royals in front earlier in the game and struck out. And then he won the game with a walk-off base hit. And then on Thursday in Detroit, he had a chance to put the Royals in front in the 9th inning. Didn't come through. But boy, did he come through in the 10th inning with a monster grand slam to straightaway center field, the first grand slam of his career.
You know, Billy Butler and Gordy, they're really tight. They're close. And when you're close, doesn't mean that necessarily you hear that in a clubhouse, because usually close guys rag each other a lot. And it'd be interesting to hear a conversation between these guys about their first career grand slams.
And that's blooped into shallow left, but Brantley got a good jump. And there are 2 down.
And I'm sure that there's already been some banter between these two guys, as Gordon's probably saying, yeah, you got a grand slam, but at least it didn't take a replay to show mine. Mine was a no-doubter. Billy scraped the back of the top of the wall, barely got out. So that's got to be hysterical listening these two go back and forth.
Well, when Billy hit his in Philadelphia, didn't we catch Billy trying to tell Alex all about it in the dugout? Yes. And Alex was just kind of nodding his head, you know?
and staring straight ahead, not giving him any love.
Ball 1 to Escobar. He doubled in the first inning. You know, the thing about Alex is when he talked about the grand slam, he brought up, well, I struck out 3 times before I hit the grand slam. And yet he got another opportunity and he came through. And, you know, Royals officials will say that, you know, Alex is really the model. How consistent he is, how level-headed he is, how he is on the field, off the field, great family man. And that some guys, they'll strike out 3 times in a game, and mentally their game is over. They're a failure, and their game is shot. And that's that, again, not getting too high, not getting too low. You can strike out 3 times in one game, and yet you might get a chance when the game's on the line. Nobody was talking about his 3 strikeouts after the game. Only he was.
And I watched him, though, after his strikeouts. And no visual body language sign of failure. None.
That's into shallow left field. And Brantley makes the play. A leadoff walk to Francoeur, and then Salvador Perez somehow hit that ball over the wall and inside the foul pole for a 2-run home run. Neil Diamond live at Fenway Park after the first Red Sox game at home following the bombings. The Red Sox took game 1. That didn't bother the Royals. They took the next 2. And then a sloppy game in Detroit for game 1. And then the pitching duel between Shields and Verlander on Thursday afternoon. And a 5-run 10th inning capped by Alex Gordon's grand slam. And the Royals arrived back in Kansas City with a winning record on that tough trip. All three of those teams were in first place when the road trip began. The Royals lost game 1 of all three of those series, but still finished 4-3.
Well, we talked about it a little bit yesterday in our open about the resiliency of this ball club and how they're able to put away whatever happened yesterday and let's go and start anew today. And when they come to the park with a swagger, confidence because of the starting pitching, they know they have a chance to win. They're a dangerous team because they can beat you in a lot of areas, and not necessarily with the home run ball, but pitching and defense and timely hits. And they're hitting .318 as a team with runners in scoring position, and Ned Yost is looking pretty good so far.
2-2 on Drew Stubbs. Santana has already struck out 4. He struck out the side in the second inning, working around a bloop single and an error. And Stubbs, that's a good looking swing there. Tough pitch, and he just guides it into right field for a leadoff single. And a look at tonight's Time Warner pitch speed comparison. Santana and Kazmir. Santana's hit 94 so far, Kazmir 93. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet.
Okay, now the Cleveland Indians aren't exactly a solid base stealing team, but they do have a couple of guys that are burners. Jason Kipnis is 4 for 4, and Drew Stubbs is 3 for 3 in stolen bases. And Drew Stubbs, he has very nice speed. Terry Francona said he has game-changing speed.
Cincinnati Reds hope that he might eventually evolve into a leadoff hitter. Big strikeouts while he was with Cincinnati. And the Indians are getting an excellent athlete in Drew Stubbs. He was a first-round pick of the Reds. It's that same part of the strike zone that Santana's not getting the call from the home plate umpire Clint Fagan, and maybe we have to give Fagan the benefit of the doubt that something's wrong with the grid tonight.
There's nothing wrong with the grid. It's a strike, call it. All right, I'm done. It's a great pitch. That's where you want it. Salvi can't wait to see if Stubbs goes. He wants to test that cannon of his. Now, Salvi's thrown out just 18% of base runners this year, but look, whenever the opponents steal a base, usually they're getting a good jump off the pitcher. Rarely do you steal a base off the catcher.
He just gets stuck with the number.
Right.
Brantley rolls it up the first base side, and it stays fair, and he almost got around Eric Hosmer. I think everybody expected that thing to take a right turn.
Had Brantley been running out of the box, he would have been by Hosmer. He thought it was going to go foul. You can't assume or you can't think in this game. That would have been a base hit for him. Watch him come out of the box. He's not going. Watch him shift it now. At half speed, he's an out. At full speed, he goes by him.
Stubbs up to second base for Kipnis. And that time Santana gets the call. 0-1. Kipnis struck out swinging at a slider in the first inning. And at the knees. 0-2.
In a good spot. He's getting ahead just like he wants. Now, it bothers me when I see speed guys that don't go 100%. Bothers me.
Kind of like a power guy not taking a good swing.
Exactly. You know, if you have God-given speed and you get a chance to be blessed to be a big league ball player, give an effort. Play hard. Don't try to assume. Don't try to play cool. Don't try to, give it up for the people. Play with a sense of urgency.
Close at second base. Stubbs is back.
Hey, Irvin's one of those Royals pitchers that will spin and throw around the different bases. He's a very good athlete. Basketball player for a long time growing up in the Dominican.
Still 1-2.
Remember, Irvin's name back then was Johan Santana. And there was already a Johan Santana who was a great pitcher in the league. And so he says, you know what? I'm going to change my name. I know I'm going to be a big leaguer someday. I like Irvin because he liked Irvin Magic Johnson. So that's why we call him Magic, or his teammates call him Magic, after Irvin.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And there was a time in his childhood when basketball was his first love. And he might still love the game, but baseball's paying the bills. Still 2-2 on Kipnis.
One of the reasons Santana's strikeouts are piling up is because of that pitch right there. It comes out of his hand, it looks like a fastball, but it has a great drop to it, and it fools the greatest hitters. You can't lay off of it.
Kipnis has some power. Now, he hasn't homered yet this year. The Royals are really playing him in the outfield. And in particular, Gordon in left field and Kane in center. And he got jammed, and Escobar goes to the bag. He gets tangled up with the runner, and no outs.
Okay, well, that's an interesting chance for Escobar, as he had to concentrate on trying to make the catch. And with Stubbs going back to the base, he wasn't sure if he's going to catch it in the fly or if he's going to catch it in a short hop. And he short hopped it, but look, I'm going to cut Escobar some slack on that one. It's a little degree of difficulty there. Got to watch the runner, but you know you want to catch the ball, but the runner's right there too.
So it's a hit for Kipnis, and now 2 on 1 out, and we get into the middle of the order, and Cabrera grounded out sharply to second base his first time up. Oh and 1. And now outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Santana's career numbers against Cleveland are not great. He's 2-8, but he's had a memorable career against the Indians. He made his big league debut against Cleveland, and the first 4 hitters hit for the cycle against him. That was back in 2005. And then 2 years ago, he no-hit the Indians, and that was in Cleveland. It was a game where the rare no-hitter where the opposition actually scored a run. There was an error and a wild pitch mixed in early in the game, but after 9 innings, the Indians were hitless against Irvin Santana. Cabrera has Stubbs at second base and Kipnis at first. And that's whacked into right field. And Stubbs is going to be held at third as Francoeur makes a great throw to the plate. And Cleveland has the bases loaded with 1 out.
Well, third base coach Brad Mills, he's well schooled on Francona's arm. And he's with Terry Francona this year. Terry brought him over as he last managed the Houston Astros. See, Frenchie's throw was a little bit on the other side, wrong side of the plate, but still plenty of time to get Stubbs, who kind of froze on that liner anyway. So Brad Mills, look at how far down the line Millsy was.
And now that play with Hosmer tagging out Brantley becomes a big play in the inning, because that's the only out. And now Swisher, and his single in the second inning was a big hit for him because he had been hitless in his previous 10 at-bats. And Urban misses outside with ball one.
Okay, looking for the ground ball double play. How you get that is that you keep the ball in the outer half like he's trying to there, and hoping that Swisher tries to pull the ball. Keep it down.
One hop to Johnson. Out at second. Double play as Hosmer pulls it out of the dirt. Risk Youth. This is Steve Curtis, and he has worked diligently to make the urban core of Kansas City, Kansas, a better place for everyone. Steve's efforts have resulted in the creation of artistic murals to cover graffiti, community gardens, and a new youth art studio in the heart of the urban core, and he is sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game, enjoying a Royals 2-0 lead on a Salvador Perez home run, and then Urban Santana got out of the bases loaded, one out in the top of the third, getting Nick Swisher to ground into a double play. Now Billy Butler takes a big curveball for strike one. Billy blooped a single to right in the first inning. Butler, Hosmer, and Kane coming up here in the bottom of the third. Line right to Kipnis. So the Indians probably feel like that's a fair trade. Maybe not, but two hitters hitting the ball hard right to the second baseman. Although the Royals got two outs when Swisher hit it hard to Johnson.
Well, Billy doinked the first one in for a base hit, so maybe that evens out. But if you ask hitters that, if those line, Adam, if they even out those line drives, they'll tell you no, they never even out.
0-1 on Hosmer. Well, you're saying hitters as in current hitters. So let's ask a retired hitter. Does it even out?
It does.
Okay. It just doesn't feel like it when you're right.
But active hitters, a hitter like Billy Butler, and I guess you were assuming to me as a retired hitter, you can't compare my hitting with Billy's. I had a larger share of doinkers than Billy ever did.
That wasn't a doinker. It might have gotten a piece of Kazmir and then bobbled twice by Cabrera. And Hosmer will be safe with one out.
So are you going to go 1-6 on the air? Because that Hopefully he got his glove and not his leg, but that looked like that was knee high. Too bad for Haas. That was a well struck ball. Couldn't get the transfer. Ball was hit so hard he had a chance, but he's going to get an error. This is Cabrera's third error on the year.
So 1 on 1 out, and now Kane and Kazmir got Lorenzo to ground into an inning-ending force out in the first. Over the inside for strike 1. And that's grounded right to Kipnis. He turns all the way around to get it to Cabrera. And now the Indians come back with a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. And that's that for the Royals in the third. Royals have a 2-0 lead over Cleveland. Unlimited answers segment. Royals are going to face 3 teams, at least right now, 3 teams that are below 500. So what will be the toughest series? 4 against the Indians, 3 against the Rays, 3 against the White Sox. Text 432-432, enter A, B, or C. Past Santana and Tejada, who came to the big leagues as a shortstop. That's familiar territory for him. That's a ground out to third, actually, but more like a shortstop.
Look at Tejada. Tejada's putting Alcides in his place. He's running back by him. Look at Escobar was calling him off here, I could tell. Escobar saying, I got it. Look at his hand even went up. And Tejada said, not when I'm playing once a week. This is my game.
And he's got a chance to throw out his former teammate and his buddy, Jason Giambi. Make way for Miguel Tejada.
And look at them. They're messing with each other right now. That's beautiful. And to hear these guys chirp. Look at Tejada and Escobar. They're going at it. It's beautiful. It's all in fun. But these are 2 passionate guys. And he's saying, stay away from my territory. But that's all part of having fun. And Escobar's probably giving Tejada a hard time about breathing heavy. He's probably saying, look, don't come over here, old man. Okay, look at him. Yeah, look at him. He's giving him a hard time for why you breathing so hard.
Now, wait a minute. In Tejada's defense, if they were in their normal spots, if the third baseman has a chance to cut across and get the ball, that's his play, right?
Take everything
so
you can get.
that still applies around second base, too, right?
Think. Escobar wanted that. Okay, now when Tejada makes this play, look at Escobar. He's still acting like he's fielding it. He's still holding his glove down there like, I had it. See, this is some of the energy that's going around that clubhouse.
Pass Hosmer and up the line for Santana. And look at Francoeur holding him to a single.
Frenchie, that bummed him out. He loves to show off his arm. Santana knows, the rest of the league knows, so they're going to play it safe. Paul had eyes on it right by Haas. Look at Frenchie. You can see that long look. He was looking before he even picked it up to see if he was going to make that turn.
Reynolds struck out in the second inning. Santana got him with a slider. Long run for Johnson as he crosses the line and makes the play. 2 down.
Big play there. Big play by Johnson. Not only is it hard this time of night with the cloudy sky in the twilight and having to run all that way to cover, but to get a home run bat like Reynolds, to get him to catch that before he has a chance to hit a homer, that's a big out right there. Good concentration. Hosmer said, hey, way to pick me up. Couldn't see it. Ned Yost has confidence in his 2 backup guys, Elliott Johnson and Tejada, over there at third base. He wants to get them some playing time, and they're not going to hurt the momentum one bit. These guys are excellent players that accept their role. And one of the reasons that Ned's team is so strong this year is bench guys. Ryan, you got to talk to Ned a little bit about his bench guys. What was he saying about them?
You know, he said something today. He said, and I don't know if he meant this literally or just using as an example. He said having Gerard Dyson come in late in the game as a pinch runner, he says it's almost like being able to use Barry Bonds late in the game, because when he's at first, he's going to get to second, and sometimes he'll get to third. I mean, he turns a non-scoring situation into a scoring situation in a flash, and now he can pinch run for just about anybody because Johnson and Tejada are so versatile on the infield. Those 2 guys can play all 4 infield positions and play them well, as Johnson cuts that ground ball off, takes a hit away from Chisenhall, and that's 4 scoreless innings for Ervin Santana. Baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. And by Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. Nice gathering tonight on a Saturday night after the rain out. And you know it's been cold when it is gray and it is damp because of all the rain, and in the mid 50s, and people say, well, this isn't so bad. I mean, this feels almost balmy compared to some of the games the Royals have played in already this year. 2-0 lead on a Salvador Perez home run. And that inning began with a walk from Jeff Francoeur, and he scored on the home run.
Casimir has been starting a lot of righties off with that get me over slider. So that will get spread around that Royals dugout. Paints the corner with a little fastball.
Stays away, and it's fouled away.
Frenchie's another bat ball hitter when he's got 2 strikes on him. He can expand the zone with the best of them. Doesn't always look pretty doing it, but
1-2.
But I don't know too many hitters that can do what Salvador Perez did for that 2-run homer in the 2nd inning to get the Royals on the board with that ball way up high outside of the strike zone. And he hit a bomb with it. I'd like to know the distance on that ball.
It was Sal's first home run of the year, and he's hit in 6 straight games.
Okay, I believe it was 342 feet on the tape measure. As it was well struck.
Now Casimir slowing down his tempo. And that is foul off the right field line. Well, you can kick your weekend off the right way by taking in some Royals baseball with the George Brett Friday 5-pack. 5 select Friday home games, including games with the Yankees, Nationals, Rangers, and more, starting at just $55, which is appropriate for number 5. And you can get your Brett Friday 5-pack today at Royals.com/Friday 5-pack, or call 1-800-6-ROYALS.
Nice little wake-up call for Clint Fagan, the home plate umpire. That rung his bell a little.
Still 2-2.
Okay, so Frenchie's got another good AB. Remember in his previous at-bat, he probably had 8 to 9 pitches. Okay, he drew the walk, got on for Salvador Perez. Now he's coming up again. He has a huge advantage, and Casimir had him 0-2, and now Frenchie's hitting balls line to line, right field, left field. Now what the hitter says is, let me split the difference.
Brantley in left field for a moment thought it was hit harder and deeper than it was, and he makes the play on the 10th pitch of the at-bat. 1 down in the 4th inning. And now Sal got that pitch up and away out of the strike zone and somehow got it inside the right field foul pole. And now he's got his average up to 284, following up on a very strong finish to the road trip. Casimir trying to pitch him inside and get him to move his feet.
Okay, 1 hop, 2 hops. I got it.
The first hop was, I think I got it, and the second hop was, I got it. This is routine for Swisher in right field, who makes a 2-hand play, 2 down. So Casimir with 3 2/3 innings, and that is beyond what he did on Saturday at Houston when he went 3 1/3 innings and gave up 6 runs, 2 home runs, and 3 walks.
You know what? I can tell he feels pretty good with himself. I can tell by the way he's walking. He's more relaxed now. He's finally getting into the game, like he said he didn't have a chance to on his first start of the year. He's settled in now. although 70 pitches.
Oh, 0-2 on Tejada, who had a bloop single first time up. Getting a chance to reacquaint himself with Jason Giambi. Played some great years together in Oakland. Giambi was the American League MVP in 2000. Tejada was the American League MVP in 2002.
Can I tell you another thing that's helpful for a bench player is when the manager comes up to you the night before and says, hey, get your rest, you're in there tomorrow. That makes the guy feel good. He can go to sleep saying, all right, I don't have to come to the park wondering if I'm playing or not. And you treat a former MVP and your bench guys like that. Take care of them. Make your players want to take a bullet for you, or maybe want to play hard for you.
Mike Moustakas getting the night off as Tejada gets the start against Kazmir. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And you know, talking to some people connected to the Indians, they have said that that's really rubbed off on this team, and there's almost a feeling like a bunch of kids that don't want to disappoint their father. You know, they're playing a little harder for Terry Francona than they played last year because they respect, as you described in the first inning, him being a player's manager and his communication style, and they're getting a little more effort out of these guys.
And you know what I know firsthand? Terry Francona called me after the '96 season with the Angels, and when he became the Philadelphia manager for the first time in his career, he became a big league manager, and he said, hey Hud, I know you had a good year, but you have a good reputation in the clubhouse. I need a veteran leader. Called me up. I said, Tito, I'm at the end of my career. Ooh, did he foul about that ball off?
Just got a piece of it.
Good. He's having a good AB going here. I'll quicken up the story here. And I said, are the Atlanta Braves in your division? He goes, yeah. I go, there's no chance to win there. You're going to have to overpay me to come there. He goes, all right, Hud, I need you. I got 12 rookies. I need a veteran guy. So he ends up overpaying me to come to Philly. I went to Philly, and he treated me like I was Miguel Tejada, like I was a star. He said, hey, which road trips do you want to go on in spring training here? Do you want to stay home on this one? I've never in my career had anybody like that treat me like that. So I was like, wow, Tito, hey, thanks for that. Hey, I don't know what to say, although I got your back. See, I love that. So when you're given love by your manager in certain ways throughout the season, that's favor that you want to get back for him. Making a big play, getting a big hit, wanting to play for him.
Changeup. Tejada strikes out. That's 3 for Kazmir. And at the end of 4, the Royals lead the Indians 2-0. Lead as we go to the top of the 5th inning. 2-run home run from Salvador Perez, And 4 scoreless innings from Irvin Santana. There's Monty. And coming up, we got Monty's Moment. They got the segment the week that I was gone. They named a segment after you.
Well, we used to
Monty's Moment.
Used to do it on the post game last year, so we're going to revive it.
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm up to speed with all this. And we're going to revisit Irvin Santana and one of his 4 strikeouts and go back to the first inning in just a moment when he gave Jason Kipnis 3 different looks and struck him out on 3 pitches. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Drew Stubbs, who led off the 3rd inning with a single. And Escobar, without Tejada cutting in front of him, throws out Stubbs, 1 away.
Ryan, one thing I like what I've seen from Santana, his ability to locate pitches both in the zone and out of the zone. We see the fastball for the strike, and we see almost a get-me-over breaking ball for a strike, and then he shows the good breaking ball. And as a pitcher, you know that you got to give that hitter one good pitch in an at-bat to swing the bat at. And he gave it to him on that get-me-over breaking ball. Kipnis laid off it like a lot of good hitters will do. They won't get themselves out on a breaking ball if they don't have to. They're not going to be protecting with 2 strikes. And he comes back with that real nasty slider that finishes almost in the dirt for the strikeout.
And now ball 1-2. Michael Brantley, who has grounded to Hosmer twice and pulls it foul to the right side. 1-1.
Monty, look, it seems to me like Clint Fagan's strike zone's pretty tight. How do you handle the frustration being a pitcher and not getting calls?
Well, it's tough, Rex. Sometimes you're making exactly the pitch and the location you want it to be with the quality and effectiveness. You're not getting the call, and if the umpire's not going to help you on those, it's going to be a long night.
Kane in center field will take care of Brantley. 2 down in the 5th inning.
What would you suggest to a young player that's just learning how to pitch, and he throws some pitches and maybe they're not called strikes? How do you tell the young kid to react?
Well, you have to stay composed more than anything. You can't show it up the umpire. You can't let anyone see that you're frustrated. Sometimes you have to make that adjustment. Maybe you have to go up a notch in that strike zone, which you really don't want to have to do. Maybe you want to work the other side of the plate, or maybe even a different pitch if you have a quality other pitch to go to.
So are you saying body language is the premium language in the lower levels as well as it is here in the big league level?
At every level, they always say don't let them see you sweat out there if you're a pitcher, because hitters sense that and they know when you're having difficulty. You know, one thing I see a lot from pitchers when they start to maybe doubt themselves a little bit, they really slow the game down. They lose that tempo and that rhythm that I think helps make pitchers effective. And again, the hitters sense it, everybody senses it.
That stayed out over the plate. Perez was motioning to Santana. I don't know if he's trying to tell him to calm down, slow down. And then he put up 2 fingers. I don't know if he was saying 2-0 or there's 2 outs, but it looked like he's trying to get Santana to do something to slow down.
Got 2 strikes on him here. Maybe want to climb the ladder.
No, that was 2-0. Count was 2-0. That's why I thought, same thing. Yeah. 2 meant 2 strikes, but in that case it was 2-0. I don't know what that meant.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Speaking of Perez, as you guys were talking about a pitcher trying to adjust to a tighter strike zone, and sometimes you have a catcher who can lobby for you and may not get the calls right away, but over time persuade the umpire into, hey, those pitches look pretty good there. I mean, is there any chance we could get that call to strike? Or
well, in most catchers, they're going to be more persistent to get pitches for their pitcher than they are with their at the plate and want to get in for themselves, because they're a reflection on how that pitcher does, and they want to be on that that combination that makes things work.
Kipnis is leaning. He wants to go.
1-1 on Cabrera. He singled to right field in the 3rd inning, and that set up the bases loaded for Nick Swisher, who then grounded into a double play. The Indians have had their share of base runners. They have 6 hits in the first 5 innings. Santana hasn't walked anybody. In fact, Irvin Santana has walked 5 all year in 33 2/3 innings.
5 walks and 30 strikeouts.
That's been a big key for him. Keeping him, I think for him, keeping the ball in the ballpark and not walking guys. That's just such a key for him. Most every pitcher, but especially a guy like Santana.
And boy, the Royals had Johnson played perfectly. He was plugging up what is normally the hole on the right side and turns that into a routine ground ball. And that makes 5 scoreless innings for Santana. Two 2-0 Royals to the bottom of the 5th. We hope you'll join us for the first summer fireworks of the season. That's Friday, May 3rd against the White Sox. It's also a Buck Night. Hot dogs, peanuts, and small soft drinks are just $1, and then fireworks after the game, courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Scott Kazmir to Elliot Johnson, followed by Alex Gordon and Alcides Escobar. Fouled away by Johnson, who struck out in the 2nd inning. A couple of former Tampa Bay Rays matching up here. You know, the Rays had that reputation of drafting and developing good young players. They also made some key trades. 2-2 on Johnson, and one of them was getting Kazmir from the Mets. He was a first-round pick of the Mets, and they traded for Victor Zambrano, not Carlos Zambrano, but Victor Zambrano. His career just kind of faded away when he went to New York. Well, Kazmir went on to lead the league in strikeouts after going to the Rays, and he strikes out Johnson. 1 down in the 5th inning. 4 strikeouts for Kazmir, and now we'll pitch to Alex Gordon, who is 0 for 2 so far. And we'll look at tonight's Toyota League leaders. Alex Gordon has made quick adjustments and productive adjustments over the past year against lefties. And I asked Alex the other day, you know, what is the approach against lefties? And he told me what he's trying to use the middle of the field more often. Well, how about before that? He goes, there was no approach. It was see ball, destroy ball.
Well, it's interesting how things work out when you have a plan.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're as gifted with the skill set that he is. He's been gifted with. I talked to Darren Erstad, world champion with the Angels and now Nebraska's head baseball coach, and both of those guys came from Nebraska. And I said, Ersty, who's a better athlete, you or Alex Gordon? Oh, that's a knock.
Well, Kazmir wasted energy by trying to throw him out, and Alex has a swinging bunt single.
You'll take it. And off the bat, when you see that, oh, you're saying, all right, I got a good chance here. Any kind of speed at all. A swinging bunt? Shoot, I'll take that. He had to earn it. Casimir almost got in the middle of Santana. Santana saying, don't throw it. Probably was telling him, don't even throw it. Put it in your pocket.
Worst thing as a pitcher you can do is throw that ball down the right field line. Now you get a triple.
Exactly. So, good play over there. First base.
So Darren Erstad told you he was way better of an athlete than Alex Gordon, right?
Okay, I texted him this. So he texted me back. He says, not a fair comparison. So now I'm going, uh-oh, what does he mean by that? So I texted back and said, Ersty, could you please clarify that? And so I'm not sure, because I know how humble Erstad is. So I'm not sure what he means by that. So he texts me back and he says, Gordon has a way better skill set than I ever had. And I texted him back and said, hey, look, I understand you're a Gordon fan like I am, but look, you're no slouch, Ersty. You were one of the greatest punters in their history. You had one of the greatest careers ever at Nebraska. And then you had a pretty good career, too, in a season where you had 250 hits. What do you got to say for yourself? He texts me back and he says, Hud, you've been listening to too much Jethro Tull. I said, what? He goes, that's in the past, Hud. That's in the past. Live it in the past.
Well, he was quite a player himself. I know he was a tough out.
Or you don't live in
Our
the past.
apologies to Jethro Tull. They're big Royals fans. They tune in every night. So the statements and opinions of Rex Hudler do not represent those of Fox Sports Kansas City. But anyway, you were saying?
Tull's got a song, Living in the Past. So, he dropped that on me. Hud, Alex is the man.
So 1-2 on Escobar.
A lot of high fastballs by Casimir. He's had some success. He struck out Elliott Johnson twice on the high fastball, and he got Hosmer on one. So now Escobar says, okay, if you're going to throw the high fastball, I'm just going to slap you down the right field line, kind of like Salvi did. So they're starting to get a little pattern on him here in the middle innings.
And came in on him, and Escobar pulls it foul. He's not a big guy. He's 6 foot, Monty. He's listed at 6 foot. Talking about Casimir. And one of the reasons the Mets traded him away is and maybe you ran into this in your career, didn't feel like he was big enough to handle the workload of 30 to 35 starts a year.
Yeah, that's one of the obstacles you have as a minor league guy trying to get to the big leagues. Now, once you get to the big leagues and you put up some numbers, they don't care how big you are. They just want you to be successful, and they want consistency. But getting there, oftentimes, I know I was overlooked, maybe ahead, behind some other guys who had a bigger stature, the 6'3" guys, the guys that threw hard. But again, once you get to the big leagues and establish yourself, everyone's created equal.
And that kicks away from Santana. And Alex rounds second. That ball rolled so far away. Alex wasn't so sure he might be able to advance all the way to third. And it's a wild pitch. And that takes away the ground ball in the double play.
A little bit short of the slider. Alcides Escobar, you want to know what he's hitting with runners in scoring position? 444.
Two best guys in that category as far as average goes are at the top of the order. Alex hitting 571 and then 444 from Escobar. Casimir is over 90 pitches. And able to stop his swing in time. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Terry Francona has to be excited about what he's seen from Casimir tonight based on the way his expectations and the way he had difficulty in his first game against the Astros in his first start, not getting out of the 3rd inning. A guy that the Indians' rotation is a little short, and they need someone like a Casimir to step up and be somewhat like he was back in his days as a Tampa Bay Ray.
To third, and a nice short hop play by Chisenhall to get Escobar. 2 outs. Billy Butler is coming up. And we're going to honor Billy with his own bobblehead coming up a week from today. First 10,000 fans receive a Billy Butler bobblehead courtesy of Sprint. Gates will open at 4:30. That's a 6:10 game with the White Sox, and you can get your tickets right now at Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS.
Okay, there it is, real life. You saw a still picture of Billy Butler. He's got that bobblehead working. And I asked Billy earlier, I said, Billy, did you design your bobblehead? And he goes, no, Hud, why? And I go, well, because there's no Joey on it. Where's your little, it's not a big belly, but, ball players call it a Joey. A Joey is, for you guys that don't know what a Joey is, it's a
pouch,
belly,
right?
a pouch
Kangaroo?
for kangaroos. Yeah, they call that a Joey. And ball players say, he's got a small Joey, or he's got a large Joey, or, So I said, Billy, there's no Joey. He goes, Hud, they made it like a sprint guy. I'm not a speed guy. At least I could have been thicker. A little bit thicker, I would have liked it. But nonetheless, he said, I can't wait for my day. Bobblehead day.
And I wonder how Billy feels about you talking about his Joey on the air.
I was talking to him in the dugout about his Joey. And I said, is it okay if I talk about it? He goes, sure, Hud.
Okay.
Just make sure to tell him I want it a little thicker. That's how he described his Joey.
We should probably end this conversation. We're entering into dangerous ground. And the Indians feel the same way about this situation. They're going to walk Billy and set up the lefty-lefty with Kazmir and Hosmer. So that was the reason why Mickey Callaway, the Indians' first-year pitching coach, went out to have a word with Kazmir. And this will be the 14th time that Billy has walked this year. So that's among the league leaders in the American League. And it's something that, unfortunately, he's going to have to get used to until somebody really starts piling up the RBIs from the number 4 spot.
So there might be some people out there that questioning Ned's putting the lefty Hosmer in that 4th hole behind Billy with a lefty going. And, I could say Ned's probably saying, well, I'm looking at the numbers. Hosmer's 4 for 10 against lefties coming into this game. So he's handled lefties with no problem. So maybe this will make Ned even more of a believer.
Well, hopefully he's able to come through here, get at least one more run on the board.
And that didn't look like the pitch that Santana was expecting. Ball 1. Now Hosmer struck out his first time up, but he was an inch literally away from hitting a 2-run double up the left field line, and then he reached on an error in the 3rd, and that ball was hit hard. So he's had a couple of good swings against Kazmir. And another one, and look at where the Indians are playing him again, right up the middle. So they had him scouted perfectly. And Hosmer is a tough luck 0 for 3 tonight. It's AT&T Uverse Reverse Replays. Irvin Santana, 5 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts, and the Royals have turned a big double play behind him. That was with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning. And the Royals have a 2-run home run from Salvador Perez. That was back in the 2nd, so it's 2-0 to the 6th. And a good pitch count, 73 after 5 innings. He's only had 1 inning tonight where he's gone over 20. And here's Swisher, who hit into that big inning-ending double play in the 3rd. He takes strike 1. Swisher is 1 for 2. Now Swisher's a good player, but I much prefer to see him playing right field for the Indians than Shin-Soo Choo.
Yeah, Choo absolutely wore the Royals out in his career as a Cleveland Indian.
And really good athlete, throwing arm, all that whole thing. And so far he's adapted pretty well in center field in Cincinnati. They wondered, how he'd be able to go. But when you're a good athlete and you're able to get good jumps off the bat, there's no problem with playing center field. You don't have to have the blazing speed. And Choo was, like you guys were saying, a tough out. And there's some history, so I'm glad he's out of the league now.
And here was Swisher, former Yankee. Reminds me of another former Yankee, the way he stands at the plate, Don Mattingly. Just that batting stance, he's got that kind of that Mattingly look.
He lays the bat on his shoulder just like Donnie did. He's in his 9th season as a big leaguer. And I got to tell you, look, as productive as he's been and as successful as Swisher has, I'm kind of looking forward to his post career. He's going to be a tremendous broadcaster, or I can see him on MLB Network. Personalities like that, you got to hear from him. He's fun. He has a lot of fun. He's got a lot of energy, smile, But he comes from big league lineage. His dad was a big leaguer.
In fact, I had a chance to watch his dad play college baseball at Ohio University with one Michael Jack Smith as a teammate.
Really?
Lays off that pitch, and it was a thrill for him to play for the Indians. He was born in Columbus, grew up in West Virginia, but very close to the Ohio border, and then played his college ball at Ohio State. So a homecoming of sorts for him to go back to the Indians. Loves his family, and we've told you the story many times. When he comes to the plate, as he goes through his routine, always talking, always smiling. He was mostly raised by his grandmother, Betty Lou. And when she passed away, that left a big void in his life. So before every pitch, looks up to the heavens to acknowledge her. Just a little glance up to the sky. And he pulls it on the ground to Hosmer. Gets a nice big hop back to the bag. And 1 down to begin the 6th. All right, we asked you what's going to be the most difficult series on this homestand. Again, 3 teams that come in, or at least 3 teams right now that are below 500, and fans aren't too concerned with the Indians. A toss-up between the White Sox and the Rays.
And if you ask the Royals players this question, they would say tonight's game.
Absolutely.
They have a 1-game focus. They don't even look that far ahead like we do. And all they're concerned with is this game right now. And that's a great philosophy and a focus that they've had since spring training is carried over.
In fact, they may not even know who they're going to be playing next weekend.
And now Hosmer gets Giambi, who is 0 for 3. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th.
I did read where they asked Shields about facing Tampa Bay, so they do know Tampa's coming next.
Speaking of Tampa, during that series will be the next Inc. Student Night and Local Music Showcase. That's every Wednesday. To show your valid student ID at the box office, you'll get a $7 ticket. And make sure to get here early for drink specials and live local music in the outfield experience before the game. And the next Student Night is featuring the band She's a Keeper. Go to Royals.com/Student Night for tickets. Oh, 0-1 on Carlos Santana, who has singled and reached on an error. You know, the Royals have been very sharp tonight. And there's always a chance, doesn't matter if it's a good team or a bad team, chance a team playing a little flat the first home game after a long road trip. Well, there's nothing flat about Irvin Santana or the Royals tonight. Monty, thanks for dropping by.
You bet.
We'll see you in Boulevard Royals Live. The Royals lead 2-0. Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com today. (2-0) Royals behind Salvador Perez, 2-run home run, and 6 scoreless innings from Irvin Santana. It'll be Kane, Francoeur, and Perez in our Sonic Slam inning. And our contestant is James Wheeler from Chillicothe, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, James wins $2,000. And this would be game number 20, so we haven't had a home run yet, Sonic Slam inning. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, James wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. And the Indians have made a pitching change. Chevy called to the bullpen. And this is Cody Allen.
All right, quite a contrast. You go from Casimir, he wasn't really exactly a power pitcher, but this guy is. Got in on Lorenzo there.
95 miles an hour. That is a fair ball catch by Reynolds. And Lorenzo Cain is 0 for 3.
So tune those bats up a little bit. He's got a power curve to go along with it. And they say he's a fearless competitor. I like that. You know, Ryan, I'm happy for Scott Casimir right now because I know how hard athletes it is for guys, especially after missing so much time, a year or 2 years, and trying to find yourself. And for him in his second start with the Tribe, he did a good job. You can't even say the home run that hurt him was a mistake. So you won't hear this very often, but I'm happy for him.
He made a lot of money, and he was paid a lot of money at the end of his career to not play. It was after the Angels released him, but still loves the game, obviously. Hung in there, was willing to humble himself and play in the independent leagues last year. A non-roster invitee for Cleveland this spring. Made the team out of spring training, started the season on the disabled list. You know, it's so impressive when a pitcher has a certain skill set to get to the major leagues, and then they lose that skill set and they have to reinvent themselves, find another way to get hitters out.
It's hard. Not easy.
3-2 on Francoeur. He walked and scored in front of Salvador Perez, home run in the second. He's also flied to left. And down he goes, and again 95 miles an hour. First strikeout for Allen. He was drafted by the Indians in 2011, and he was in the big leagues the next year. Now you say, oh, that's impressive. What was he, a first or second round pick? They moved him quickly. He was a 23rd round pick out of High Point College in North Carolina. But the very next year, he was in the big leagues.
Wow. And that goes to show that it doesn't matter where you're drafted. It's what you can do once given the opportunity. And with the two hard pitches that he has, the fastball and that big curve, he fits nicely in the bullpen, towards the back of their bullpen.
One hop to Chisenhall at third, and across the diamond in time to get Perez. So Allen comes out of the bullpen and gets Kane, Francoeur, and Perez. Irvin Santana has 6 scoreless innings tonight. Royals, and Irvin Santana with 6 scoreless innings. And this is what he did in the 3 starts prior to tonight. Sunday at Boston, 2 runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts in 7 innings. At home against Toronto, 1 run in 8 innings. And then April 8th against Minnesota, his first win as a Royal, 1 run in 8 innings. So quick math, 29 innings pitched by Santana over his last 4, and he's allowed 4 earned runs. 4 earned runs in his last 29 innings.
Not too shabby. Irvin was the first starter of the bunch for the front office that they acquired in the offseason. And I remember coming over, when he came over here, listening to the response, people weren't really thrilled because they were saying, wow, he had a losing record last year. What's up with that? Well, maybe fans didn't really look deeper into the numbers. To start the season last season with the Angels, he went 0-6. Okay, but if you look at it, 5 out of those 6, his teams were shut out. His team didn't score any runs for him. And I never heard of that before. I went, oh my goodness, talk about getting off to a slow start. So when Irvin got here in the winter for the Caravan, I saw him and I said, Irvin, and what happened last season? He goes, nothing. I just had some bad luck. I couldn't get any runs scored for me. So that tells the story lots of times. The record doesn't.
And he picked it up in the second half. Second half of the season, especially the last couple of months, he might have been the best pitcher the Angels had.
But that's an unusual statistic.
I want to say that was historic.
I think so.
I mean, maybe the first time in Major League history that a pitcher 5 consecutive starts, his team was shut out. Yeah.
It's crazy. Especially with all that money they poured in those hitters out there. What a pitch.
5 strikeouts against no walks for Santana. That's the second time he has struck out Mark Reynolds.
Okay, beautiful little breaking ball there. They took something off. That might have been a changeup. Didn't really have the depth of that slider, but man, that was filthy.
Since the 3rd inning, the Indians have 2 singles against Santana. That's it. A strike to Chisenhall, who is 0 for 2, and he's been one of the strikeout victims. And down to the count, no balls, 2 strikes. And I would bet right now the Indians hitters feel like before they can get their feet settled in the box, they're 0-2. I mean, he's just strike 1, strike 2 at these guys. He's thrown 20 or more pitches in 1 inning.
It's really good. I mean, he's got him where he wants it.
Hosmer plays it off to his right side and gets it to Santana for the second out. And now Santana has retired 6 in a row. Time for our AT&T trivia question for tonight. Who are the 2 Royals with the record for most grand slams in 1 season? I heard you were just a magician during the road trip. Just
you mean with
the answers were just coming to you, just right off the top of your head, and some tough ones. You know, I'm over in the radio booth. I'm seeing these questions.
But with all the people that know now, and you've worked with me, you know that off the top of my head's pretty shallow. So I needed a little bit of help. And I don't want to divulge my secrets. However, I had little help on that road trip.
Somebody doing some research for you?
Well, there was a few instances where I needed some help. Put it that way.
There you go. 0-2 on Stubbs. Reynolds was 0-2. He struck out. Chisenhall was 0-2. He grounded out, and now Stubbs is 0-2. And he lays off the slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stubbs has one of the 6 hits for the Indians tonight. And by the way, all 6 hits have been singles. To Tejada. Long throw on the money. 7 shutout innings for Irvin Santana. And he hasn't even reached 100 pitches yet. Royals lead 2-0.
Detroit beats Atlanta again. How about Travis Hafner? A homer and a triple. He had 4 RBIs in that one for the Yankees. Baltimore beats Oakland 7-3 as we see the first pitch delivered to a swinging Miguel Tejada. Other action around baseball, Minnesota still playing some good ball. They win 7-2, and the Red Sox on top of Houston 5-2 is the score in that one. So, give you one more little highlight. Our Mazda game break takes us back to Detroit last night. How about Anibal Sanchez? Now, the Braves, they are a free-swinging team. They strike out a lot, but how about 17 punch-outs for Sanchez? 21st pitcher in the live ball era to have 17 or more strikeouts and 1 or less walks. The first to do it since Johan Santana in 2007. Ryan?
All right, thanks, Joel. And that was a team record for the Tigers. 17 strikeouts. Passing Mickey Lolich, who had 16 twice in the same year in about the span of 3 weeks. 16 in 1969. And by the way, Sanchez struck out 17 in 8 innings. So we got 24 outs, and 17 of those were strikeouts.
Amazing that he could do that to any big league team. Great stuff. And he didn't have good success against that ball club in the past either, when he was over there in the National League.
Two and two on Tejada. 195-mile-an-hour fastball after another from Cody Allen, who took over in the 6th. And you can see that Santana tried to pull it back in the strike zone. Frame it, as they say. Got him with some high heat. 96. Second strikeout for Allen. And 1 down in the 7th. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. You'll watch every out-of-market game live online in HD. Features include choice of home and away broadcasts, DVR functionality, and multi-game viewing options. Visit MLB.tv to order and join the millions of fans already watching games. In fact, Cody Allen can go watch it right now if he'd like. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Elliott Johnson is coming up. And Terry Francona is going to make a Chevy call to the bullpen. 2-0 Royals in the bottom of the 7th. The game break takes us to St. Louis last night, and this is Jonathan Sanchez almost drilling Alan Craig on the helmet and thrown out by home plate umpire Tim Timmons in the 1st inning. Now that followed a home run, and a line drive up the middle from the Cardinals to greet Jonathan Sanchez, and then drilling Alan Craig. And it wasn't just Tim Timmons who felt that that was intentional, as the league suspended Jonathan Sanchez for 6 games.
It's where he hit it. That's head high. Had he not turned his shoulder, it would have hit him in the neck. Dangerous, very dangerous. And had there not been any home runs given up that inning, he may have stayed in the game. But the fact that you get roughed around a little bit early, sometimes pitchers try to back you off. Now, got no excuse for him. But 6 games is a worthy suspension for that.
Still 0-2 on Elliott Johnson against Nick Hagedorn. And we had a similar incident when Sanchez was here facing this team, the Cleveland Indians. Remember, he drilled Shin-Soo Choo on the shin, and he had broken Shin-Soo Choo's wrist the year before in an interleague game, and we had a bench clearing situation. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Johnson loses his helmet. Here we go. A year ago, hit him on the leg. Jack Hanahan came running out of the dugout, and then Genmar Gomez the next inning drilled Mike Moustakas and was ejected. And that put the Indians pitching staff in flux because they had played a series of games. They were already thin in the bullpen, and Genmar Gomez had to learn the hard lesson that if you want to retaliate, don't do it right away. I mean, do it later in the game or maybe the next game.
Yeah, you wait. Put your team in a bind. It's like Clint Hurdle. He argued and got thrown out too, but in the first inning he's saying, man, I don't have no pitching. He was hot, and not the kind of start that Elliott Johnson envisioned when he came to the ballpark today. That's his 3rd strikeout of the night.
There's closer Chris Perez, who got into some hot water with the league when he started tweeting. Remember that? What was that tweet? You hit us, we hit you. Period, something like that.
Yeah, our time. Wasn't that? That
yeah,
was the thing.
right.
Then there was something with that.
Well, you can't beat fun at the old ballpark, right? I mean,
it's highly competitive when money's on the line. Okay, so then this is still early in the season, so there's a little bit of stuff going on there. And he almost hurt himself on this one, remember? That was to close the game down. But that's over. That's last year. Now watch this. He's excited about the last out. Oops.
he's had more graceful moments in his career. The Indians, they think they have the best bullpen in the American League Central Division. And if you think about it, this division, just about every team has a strong bullpen. Tigers, we'll see how Jose Valverde does for them, and maybe even before Jose Valverde, but Minnesota's bullpen's been good. Cleveland
got a really good bullpen.
Cleveland's bullpen's similar to the Royals in that it's very good and very young. 2-2 on Alex, who is 1 for 3.
Nobody's stirring in the Royals' pen as Irvin seems to be on cruise control.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Alex hit that grand slam, of course, on Thursday, the first of his career, but it was a big road trip for him even before that. He had 2 home runs on the trip, 6 runs scored, 7 RBIs. And 1 for 3 tonight to begin the long homestand. Still 3-2.
Okay, Carlos Santana, the catcher tonight, has been calling a lot of high fastballs all evening for Kazmir and now Hagedorn. And those pitches for hitters are hard to lay off of. They look good to hit, but by the time they get there, usually just all you can do is foul them off.
Another foul ball.
But if you make a mistake and it's down an inch or two, those balls can really be handled, especially by Gordon, who's got a good inside-out swing on lefties.
And we were talking about his approach against lefties and how it's paid off for him. Well, He hit that grand slam yesterday against a left-hand pitcher, or 2 days ago, Darren Downs. Now, we didn't do that game together. I've never seen a ball hit there before in that ballpark.
I've seen it off of Cabrera's bat. But with him, you can understand. He's so big and strong. And, you know, Gordon is too, but just bat speed. That's what it is.
And Alex might be the strongest Royal pound for pound. There it was, out over the plate. And when he hit it, I don't know about you, Hud, but when he hit it, I thought, you know, I knew he hit it hard. But then I remembered, oh, we're in Detroit. And then I saw Jackson turn around. I thought, oh, this thing's going to land on the warning track. And then it landed in the second row of the hedges. And it's like, wow. I didn't know you could hit a ball out there. Great at bat. After fouling off all those borderline pitches, he got one out over the plate and has his second hit tonight.
Okay, and Francona's making his way out. He's saying, I think that's enough. Make another move here.
I think Yunievsky Betancourt is one of the answers here.
And I'm going to go out and say that Danny Tartable.
Nice.
Hey, how about that guess?
That away, Hud.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they both hit 3. I think. Another pitching change for the Indians. Royals lead 2-0, bottom of the 7th. House, vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. This is Brian Shaw in his first year with the Indians. Drafted by Arizona in the second round in 2008. Out of Long Beach State, where he was a closer. 2 down, Gordon at first, and Shaw pitches to Alcides Escobar. Alex takes off, and the throw is high. It's backed up by the second baseman Kipnis on a high throw, and that's Alex's first stolen base of the year.
Okay, long leg kick. High leg kick. Gives Gordon enough time to get in there and get his first bag of the year.
One and one on Escobar, who had a first inning double. He is 1 for 3. This is one of those young pitchers that the Indians are excited about in their bullpen. Shaw coming over in a trade during the offseason. It was a 3-way trade. The Indians, the Reds, and the Diamondbacks, the same deal that sent Shin-Soo Choo to Cincinnati. And that gets past Santana and will move Gordon to third.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild pitch. Santana's getting worked up tonight. And so didn't want that to happen again here. Now, this young guy you talk about is hard fastball, harder and harder. You know, eventually he'll learn that hard is okay if the location's right. Alcides with a good short quick swing. He can hurt you.
Outside.
Well, that's the evolution of a young guy that comes in the league and has a power fastball. He's going to get away with it while he can.
Full count. Allen struck out Tejada. Hagedorn struck out Johnson, and then Gordon singled. He stole second, went to third on a wild pitch, and is still 3-2 on Escobar.
And Eneski says, man, I would like to have that one back. Ah, he missed it. 3-2, you're setting hard heater. That's all you're expecting because that's all you've seen. He's got a little slider. Slugger found a fan with a Joey.
Fouled away. Nice catch. A nice play by a fan in the. He's in the second row, moved up to the first row. Look at how casual that is. One hand, bare hand.
Ooh, man, Sam, you see that? Skills.
Usher comes down to make sure he's all right. You kidding me? This is the best night of his life. And Escobar having a very similar at bat against Shaw that Gordon had against Hagedorn before he singled. Fighting off the tough pitches and he's hoping to get one in the zone. He has seen 8 from Shaw. He's never faced Brian Shaw before, and Shaw's been tough early this season as he has pitched 10 in the third innings and struck out 13. He's only given up 6 hits. And he will walk. So that means Shaw will have to face Billy Butler with 2 on and 2 out. Remember what Charlie Manuel told you about these Royals in Philadelphia?
They play 9 hard. They just keep coming.
And here they are, still working hard. Now, they don't have a big lead, so any additional run they would love to have, but good, determined, focus at bats. And trying to put something together after the inning began with 2 outs and nobody on.
Yeah, I love to see the power on power confrontations in baseball. Power arms, power bats. See who wins.
And now Escobar runs and Santana won't bother to throw. In fact, nobody even covered. So that's stolen base number 5 for Escobar. In fact, he's 5 for 5. And now Billy has a chance to drive in 2. Billy hit a bloop single in the first. He lined out in the third and was intentionally walked in the 5th. 2 balls and no strikes. And you wonder, with that stolen base, is Billy going to get a hittable pitch?
It's very questionable, but look, Hosmer, the way he's lining that ball all over the place tonight, he won't mind. But, you know, he's keeping that ball away from Billy for sure. But as hard as he is, sometimes they make mistakes, even if you're trying to pitch away from him.
And he got a slider in there. Or a cut fastball, something. That thing had some tail on it, but it was 93 miles an hour.
It had a little cut to it. You're right, as a cutter. Slider was the ball 4 to Eski.
Three and 1 with Hosmer on deck. Ball 4, and it's all set up for Eric Hosmer, who has been close all night. Now he is 0 for 3, but he has come very close to driving and runs on 2 occasions tonight in his first at bat. 2 on, 1 out, and he just missed driving in 2 with a ball that was an inch foul. Ended up striking out. Next at bat, a shot up the middle that is deflected by the pitcher, so it stayed on the infield for an error. And then with a man in scoring position in his last at bat, a rocket to center field, but caught by Cabrera. But as we talked about earlier, it's always a chance for another opportunity later in the game, and he's going to get it right now with the bases loaded, 2 down. Royals lead 2-0 in the 7th. Had a long at bat and singled. He stole second, went to third on a wild pitch. Alcides Escobar had a long plate appearance. He walked, stole second. Billy Butler walked. And that's the second time the Indians have pitched around Butler to get to Eric Hosmer. And it's lefty Rich Hill to face Hosmer with the bases loaded and 2 down. And a sweeping breaking ball is outside for ball 1.
Okay, now he's not an overpowering guy. He's got that big breaking ball. You're going to see that for sure when you come in a situation like this with him. Hosmer's approach needs to keep that shoulder in, look for something and drive it the other way. And if he gets a fastball in, go ahead and pound one. But that fading breaking ball is going to be the main thing that Hill's going to try to do to him.
And it's only coming in at 74 miles an hour.
It's a slow one.
Outside, 2-1, and Hill has had his control problems in his first 6 games. In 4 2/3 innings, he's walked 3. He's also struck out 6. So Hosmer in front, 2 balls and 1 strike. Didn't get the call, 3-1.
Okay, that's a really good sign right there. Hosmer didn't flinch. That front shoulder stayed closed. He didn't even offer it that. So good pickup. He's recognizing that that pitch is going to be away. So you can see where all those away. They want to stay out of the middle for him. 3-1. It's got to come in there.
He'll take it. So 2 strikeouts to begin the inning. A single and now 3 straight walks. And Hosmer drives in his 7th of the year. And the Royals lead 3-0. And Terry Francona is carving out quite a path from the third base dugout to the mound in this inning.
I'll say. Now, he's not real thrilled with that, all those breaking balls. Now, he'll give him a little pat on the shoulder, but I can tell you that Francona's saying, you know what? If you let him make him swing the bat, he might hit it at somebody and we're out of the inning. Instead, you gave him a run. And now we got to face Salvador, and I got to bring in another righty.
So So this will be his 5th pitcher of this inning, and it's Joe Smith. He'll pitch to Lorenzo Cain with the bases loaded when we come back. Royals with a run in the bottom of the 7th inning for a 3-0 lead. Hey, we just found out with the day-night doubleheader tomorrow for the 110 game, the outfield experience will be open at no charge for all children, because the fun run, which normally comes after Sunday day games, that has been canceled because they'll be prepping the field for the 7:10 start. So fans coming only to the 7:10 game are encouraged to arrive no earlier than 5 o'clock. The gates will open at 6. But again, the outfield experience, no charge for all children tomorrow for the 110 game. Here's Joe Smith with the bases loaded, 2 down, and Cain taps it back to Smith. He'll play it to first, and he goes sidearm there just as he does to the plate, and that ends the inning. But with 2 outs and nobody on, the Royals get a hit. They get 3 straight walks. Hosmer drives in a run with the bases loaded, and Urban Santana will give way to the bullpen as the Royals lead 3-0. By Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. Mike Moustakas will take over at third as we go to the 8th, replacing Miguel Tejada. And Urban Santana, with 7 scoreless innings, will give way to Kelvin Herrera. The Royals tack on a run in the bottom of the 7th to give Herrera in the bullpen a 3-0 lead. And Herrera will be getting the top of the order.
Yeah, a little insurance doesn't hurt at all for Herrera, who's given up a few home runs this year, but when he's on his game, there's not too many guys able to do that. However, this Indians team has 25 home runs. That's 6 in the American League, so they've got some pop.
Brantley was 0 for 3 against Santana with 2 groundouts and a flyout.
Strike one is a good pitch for him, and I guess it was low. Good hard fastballs, change up, and slider.
Two balls and no strikes, and Perez right away wants to go out and have a word with Herrera. Herrera had that game in Atlanta where he gave up 3 home runs in the 1 inning, but he bounced back the very next day in that 1-0 win against the Braves. And then he gave up the 3-run home run in Boston to Daniel Nava, but he bounced back right after that.
There's resiliency amongst these guys, man, and Ned deserves some credit for that. He's saying, hey, look, you know what? I got confidence in you. I'm not going to bury you on the bench now for 2 or 3 games, and that does more mental damage than anything else to a young guy. So he says, I'm going to throw you right back on the horse. After you get thrown off, sometimes you don't want to get back on it, but these pitchers do.
And Brantley goes the other way, and that's going to roll deep. So he got into a hitter's count. And that's the first extra base hit for the Indians. Irvin Santana, in addition to his 7 scoreless innings, he retired the last 7 Indians that he faced.
Fastballs can be struck hard when they're over the middle, no matter how hard you throw them. But when you fall behind a hitter's count, that's what they're looking for. Good swing. Still got to be able to make some contact. Brantley says, you know, I'm just going to settle for that double.
And now Herrera and Jason Kipnis. He had 2 hits against Santana. Both singles. He's 2 for 3.
So 99 on the outer black of the plate. Can't touch that.
And then back with that power changeup, 0-2.
Out of the same arm speed as that 99. So you might look at Kelvin Herrera and say, where does he get that? He's a little guy. He's not a real big guy. And I asked him that just the other day. And he sat there and he said, you know what? My grandfather had a strong arm. My dad had a strong arm. It's genetics. Don't try to figure it out. I've been blessed. He is strong in his lower body, but he. Ooh.
And that gets through Perez. A wild pitch gets Brantley over to third.
So obviously, a lot of these guys up here are blessed physically, for sure, and athletically. But to have a golden arm like that, coming out of such a small frame of a guy, it's pretty impressive. Tim Collis, same way.
That changeup was up and fouled away by Kipnis. And he's going to keep throwing that pitch. He was saying the other day, you know, hey, sometimes that pitch is going to get hit. So he understands he's not invincible, although at times he has appeared to be invincible. But that's the pitch that everybody wanted to talk about in Philadelphia. That was when Herrera, at least for this year, and especially against a National League team that doesn't see him very often, I mean, that was kind of his coming out party. I mean, they couldn't believe it. 97 and 99, and then a great changeup to go with that. .100 miles an hour. One down in the 8th.
Woo, man, that's heating it up. Right down the middle. Either you hit it or you don't. Go ahead. I'm going to give you my best pitch. Some might say it's his changeup, but I'm going with the 99 100-mile-an-hour heater. How about you, Ryan?
That's his best pitch?
Yeah.
Well located, yes. Cabrera singled in the third. He is 1 for 3. And Herrera's in for strike one at 98. Brantley with a leadoff double. He went to third on a wild pitch. .99. No balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, and Salvador Perez, when he transfers that ball from glove to hand and throws it back to Herrera, you can't even see it. It's so quick. It's become such a natural thing for him. His hands are marvelous. He's able to handle that ball like that.
Popped up. And some Moose chants as Moustakas makes the play. 2 down. Well, if the fastball is God-given, the changeup was a pitch that he had to learn. And you've heard the old story, every picture tells a story. Well, every pitch tells a story. And Herrera said that he learned the changeup in 2008 in A-ball, shagging during batting practice. And as he was throwing the ball into the bucket, where they collect all the balls during batting practice, he was just throwing the ball in with different grips, trying different changeup grips. And finally he got one that he liked just by not even playing catch with somebody, just throwing the ball to a guy standing at a bucket. And that pitch, along with that fastball in the upper 90s, got him to the big leagues.
It's a money pitch and a feel pitch. Takes some time to develop it, but he's not exactly an old guy either.
1-1, and Nick Swisher, who hit into the biggest outs of the game for the Indians tonight with the bases loaded, 1 out in the third. He grounded into a double play. That was a big inning for Irvin Santana. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There was the change. And then the Indians did very little against Santana after that. That double play is our forward play of the game.
Yep. He's magic. And he's able to, almost like a switch, turn it on and turn it off. Man, I'm going to tell you, he looks really good. He got out of it with some trouble. No problem. Thank you, Ford, for tagging that on Irvin Santana.
Just missed. Perez held it out there for Clint Fagan, who wouldn't budge. 3-2.
Pretty impressive take.
I tell you, the good catchers, and we know that Sal is one of the best, they sure make borderline pitches look good, don't they? I mean,
they don't even move.
Very subtly pulled that closer to the plate. And now Swisher walks. And that means the tying run comes to the plate. So he had Swisher down in the count, but Swisher throughout his big league career, good years, bad years, average years, has always had a good eye. And now you've got one player whose career is just beginning going up against a player whose career is in its twilight, Jason Giambi.
Okay, now usually they say when hitters are in their late 30s that they can't catch up to a good fastball. Okay, but don't tell 42-year-old Jason Giambi that. As you see Rusty Kuntz saying, don't let him hit it over your head. He's already got 2 home runs, and he needs to be a little careful with where he locates. There you go, Salvi. Stay away from him.
Outside for ball 1.
Because he's in terrific shape. He's not like in his younger days, as he told me yesterday. He says, Hud, look, I've kind of shut down those early Wild days. I'm a guy now. I'm focused. I'm watching what I eat. I'm taking care of myself. So look at Salvi saying, come on, right here. Stay right with me.
And now Herrera doing the right thing, going to the back of the mound, grab the rosin bag, trying to slow things down. 99 in on the hands, 2-1.
Yeah. So, you know, if he locates, it shouldn't be any different than any other hitter if he can put that where he wants it. But Giambi took a swing, and he's gonna. The DH, 2-0 count. Couple of guys on.
And then a changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Okay, after 99 and that's just unfair. I mean, he's way out in front of that now. Okay, Swisher, he's over there. He's trying to make sure to get a good jump off of first base in case there is some contact made. But I guarantee he told Hosmer, that changeup is filthy that guy's got.
Fastball strikes him out, and again, 100 miles an hour. So it wasn't easy, but Herrera gets through it.
Woo! Better you, Jason, than me. By golly, good try.
The Royals, Fox Sports, and the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. This will be Matt Albers. So this is Terry Francona's 6th pitcher since the beginning of the 6th inning. Now, there was the postponement yesterday, but the Indians were here in Kansas City on Thursday with a scheduled off day. So he wants to get his guys in there, get some work. And with all the pitching changes he has made, only one reliever has pitched more than 2 hitters.
Okay, a little bit more fastballs here. Fastball, slider, change.
Strike 2. Jeff Francoeur, who walked and scored on Salvador Perez's home run in the 2nd inning, and then the Royals added a 3rd run in the 7th on a bases loaded walk. That's the 3rd time in a week the Royals have received a bases loaded walk late in a game.
And that's a great sign, because when you got bases loaded, the hitter's tendency is to want to produce and be the star. So the fact that they're spitting on borderline pitches tells me their plate discipline's going through the roof with them loaded up.
Albers off the mound to get Francoeur 1 down. And now Salvador Perez, and as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Nobody hits that pitch out of the yard. Oh my goodness, that wasn't even a mistake. Kazmir, that's his only blemish on his night. That 2-run homer that traveled 382 feet.
It was his first home run of the year. And RBIs 7 and 8. Broke his bat. The ball gets by the mound. And Kipnis is there for the out. 2 down.
Oh yeah, Salvi was busting it hard, man. He wanted to get that knock. Good thing that Alberts stay out of the way of that broken bat. Okay, when hitters sense that they got a chance, man, they want to get that hit. It's good hustle.
And now Mike Moustakas will get an at-bat. And his bat breaks in half. Albers is throwing cannonballs up there, destroying 2 bats and getting 3 ground ball outs. 3 outs to go. Royals lead 3-0 with Greg Holland coming on for the save.
They're on, they're out. Good hard fastball, mid-90s. Hard slider, split finger when he gets ahead. There's a slider. He knows what to do. Good demeanor, focused, rarely rattled.
He is on quite a roll. If you go back to a game here at Kauffman Stadium on April the 9th, and remember that cold, windy, rainy night, and Holland got the save in a 7-4 Royals win, and he struck out Joe Mauer with the bases loaded. If you go back to that game and that matchup with Mauer, Greg Holland has retired 13 in a row with 10 strikeouts.
Ooh, and that was in the pouring rain.
And a strike to Carlos Santana, who is 1 for 3. It'll be Santana, Reynolds, and Chisenhall. So some power coming up for the Indians, and that's hit very high off to the first base side, but will land back in the seats. And it's 0-2 on Santana, who has hit 4 home runs, followed by Reynolds, who has hit 7.
You still got to look fastball 0-2, but Holland, no telling what Salvi's going to put down. That's a lot of fingers. Usually means off speed. I don't know.
Still 0-2.
He likes to bury that split finger. He likes for it to start at the knees and end up in the dirt.
Had him fooled. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In fact, Santana was thinking about something middle or away. The thing was boring in on him.
And he was cheating a little bit too. When they call that cheating, you mean he's trying to get out there. He's trying to jump out there and see if he can get that fastball. He's going to get another splitty here. Ooh.
That pitch got away from him. Another good night on the mound so far. Irvin Santana, 7 scoreless innings. Kelvin Herrera pitched a scoreless 8th. And that's the 9th time in the last 10 games a Royals starter has gone at least 6. And 16 out of 20 games this year, Royals starter has gone at least 6 innings. Broke his bat. Shallow center field, and Escobar waving everybody off and makes the play.
Okay, Holland missed a couple of times with his split finger, but we're going to show you back in Boston how he holds that. See that now? But watch him when he puts it to work. They call that a split finger because you split your fingers, and it comes out of the same arm slot as the fastball. You can see that with that slowing it down like that, and it starts out about belt high and ends down in the ground. A really tough pitch for a hitter to pick up.
Oh, and 1 on Reynolds. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And he leads the Indians with 7 home runs and 19 RBIs. Oh, and 2. And we told you at the beginning of the broadcast that to this point, the Indians don't have very impressive offensive numbers, but the one number that stands out would be their home runs. They are 5th in the league, and the Royals have kept them in the ballpark and then some tonight. Just got a piece of it. It's still 0-2. Did he go? See, that's where I don't get the, well, it's his intent. It doesn't matter how far he went. It's his intent. Well, what else was he doing there? That was not an intent to swing? Was he stretching out his hamstrings? Is that what he was doing? Doesn't matter how far he goes. It's intent.
That's the call that gets more guys thrown out than any in baseball for hitters.
Now, there are times when the pitch is up and in and the hitter's trying to get out of the way and the bat crosses the plane, and that, okay, that's not an intent to swing. It doesn't matter how far he goes. It's intent. Anyway,
that's all right.
I feel better.
I'm glad. I could tell when you're not real thrilled about something, but you know that's a tough call for an umpire. Think about it. He wants to, if it's in his interpretation, if he swung or went after it.
Stock is going to let it roll, and it hits the bag. And I think even if he tried to play it, there was no chance to get Reynolds.
Yeah, a professional third baseman like Moose can tell if he's got a shot or not. Okay, he tops it, big hitter. Look at it, and Reynolds was out front on that too. He was already leaning out, coming out of the box. Runs pretty well for a big man. So Moose decided, hey, look, I'm going to take a chance. Looks like it's spinning hard, but
you know, I love that he did that because, like you say, he realized he didn't have a play. So give it a chance to roll foul.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Some guys will come in and they realize it's a hit, and they'll pick it up anyway. I mean, it's just like,
or even he picks it and tries to make a desperate attempt when you don't need a desperate attempt there. Got one out in the inning. You throw the ball away, then he goes to second base. It's it's no problem with that.
And that pitch was down, and it gets through Hosmer, and now he loses the grip, and everybody's safe.
Won't see that very often. Okay, he backs up, takes and tries to get the big hop. Okay, he was thinking about second base. That's what happened. And then by the time he reloaded to get the out, it was too late. See, he's already starting to turn his head towards second to fire. And when you have hands as good as his, sometimes whenever that ball gets near your glove, you're already thinking about what you're going to do with it. Just took his focus off, and that's all it takes.
Coming up immediately after the game, Boulevard Royals Live from Rivals with Joel and Monty. They'll go through the highlights. We'll get Monty's analysis on the game. Nate Bukaty will be down in the clubhouse. And we'll also hear from Royals manager Ned Yost. And we hope that comes sooner rather than later. Drew Stubbs. Good pitch at the knee. Strike one. Stubbs is 1 for 3. And this would be his first career at bat against Holland. So with one out, a dribbler up the third base line that hit the bag in an error gets the tying run to the plate. Hard slider away, and it's 0-2. Got him with a slider away. 8 strikeouts for Royals pitching tonight. And now 2 down in the 9th. A reminder, tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. And now Holland and Michael Brantley, who doubled in the 8th inning. He is 1 for 4. A little bit outside for ball 1. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery, along with director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Brian Shapiro, and the rest of the best home TV crew in the league.
Got that right.
And that is into right center field, and that is going to roll deep. It'll score 2, and now Brantley is around second, and he is headed for third, and he has a 2-run triple. And that is his first career hit against Greg Holland. He had been 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts.
It looked like Holland left a breaking ball out over the middle of the plate. Brantley with a good, short, solid, quick swing. Now, he had a double earlier in the game to left center, and he stayed at second base. A little bit closer to third was the ball. So he is opposite field, no problem. He's going all the way on this one. But now, all of a sudden, it's gotten interesting here. Little drama for the over 20,000 fans that showed up here at the K.
And that's high, ball 1 to Kipnis, who has 2 hits. A little celebration with his dugout, but not over the top.
No. And look, goes back to that extra insurance run that Hosmer took the bases loaded walk.
And that is taken low. 2-0. The Indians in the first 7 innings against Irvin Santana, no runs, 5 singles. And now in the last 2 innings, they have 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 extra base hits. Got the call, 2-1. Kipnis is 1 for 2 in the past against Holland with a single. Two and 2. That was not a great swing at a slider with the count 2-1. Think he goes back with that pitch?
He might. Trust Salvador.
Got him to chase a pitch in the dirt. Kipnis doesn't realize it's in the dirt, and he allows Perez to just tag him. Didn't force him to make a throw. And the Royals hang on. They get around the squib single and the air. And the 2-run triple from Brantley. And Greg Holland picks up his 6th save. And the Royals begin the homestand with a 3-2 win over the Indians.
Woo, man, a little fortune right there. Salvador, if that ball goes to the back of the screen, we're still playing. It's a tie game. So Salvador Perez was able to stay down on it just enough as his right leg and his heel kicked that ball and kept it from going to the back. And game 1 is over.